Hey guys, in this video I'm going to discuss the 4 biggest mistakes that people make in their workouts that hold them back from achieving the results that their efforts deserve. So I'm Alex Pedley. I coach busy professionals who are over 40 and show them how to transform how they look, feel and perform without high intensity workouts or restrictive dieting. So we're going to go into these 4 big mistakes that I see time and again that people are making, and they go into their workouts and they're working hard, they're really pushing themselves, but they're just not getting the results or the progress and the momentum that they should be. So I'm going to dive straight into it, and the first one is not using the progressive overload principle. So the progressive overload principle is essentially just making sure that you progress your workouts week on week. So you're always pushing your body slightly harder, so you force it to adapt and improve. So it's really important just to understand that when we work out, we are putting exercise stress into our body. The body reacts to that exercise stress by building up more of a tolerance to it, by becoming bigger and stronger or fitter. Now, if we don't force that adaptation, we don't really push the body as hard enough that it does require to improve, then what we do is we just stagnate. So with the progressive overload principle, essentially the idea is you want to either add some repetitions, some weight, or some sets, reduce your recovery period. These are all different variables that you can use to be able to make sure that you progress week on week. Now, the way that you do this is really important, because if you're just doing ad hoc workouts, you're not going to really know how well you're progressing your workouts, because they're always going to be different every single time that you train. And this leads us perfectly onto the big mistake number 2 that people make, and that is not following a structured training plan. So if you just do workouts here and there and you change them up every single time, which is really common. A lot of people I know don't like to do the same workouts too often because they become bored with it. But the problem with this approach is you don't know if you're actually progressing a workout. So say for example you done a bench press last week and then you done a dumbbell press the week after, so both flat chest press, then you don't know if you're actually improving on your week before. Now, what you will do is you will keep causing your body to work hard, because you're going to be obviously doing these workouts, but you're not going to be progressing it. You're not going to be pushing it on. And what you actually do in the end is actually cause more DOMS. That's delayed onset muscular soreness, and that's the pain that we get from doing a new workout or changing up our workouts, which is expected. But as I say, if you just continuously change your workouts all the time and work really hard in those workouts, then you're just going to feel ache all the time, and that's not necessarily a good thing all of the time. So instead, set yourself a structured plan and follow that plan from anything from 3 weeks to 8 weeks. Now, what I like to do is change my plan every calendar month. It's just for ease of implementation. I know when to change it on the 1st. And they don't have to be a complex plan, but they just have to be a structured plan which work all of the major muscle groups, and you can then have a look at what's happened from the week before and then progress it each time. And as I say, one of the best ways to do this is, say you set yourself, again we'll use a bench press, you set yourself 4 sets of bench and you're going to do between 8 and 12 reps. Well, if you've done on your week 2, for example, you've done 4 sets of 10, well, the following week you could just try and push to 4 sets of 11, or even if you can, move up to 4 sets of 12. Now, once you hit all 4 of those sets, hitting your maximum number, so your reps are up to 12 reps, then you increase the weight. And you do that week on week, and that way you're always progressing, you're always working slightly harder. Now, the mistake number 3, which I often see people make, is not actually tracking their rest period. So they finish a set and then they start looking at their phone, or they start doing something else, or they just sit there and they don't actually know how long their rest period is. And your rest period is another way to be able to progressively overload your training. So by actually setting yourself, say, a 90-second or 2-minute rest and timing it, you're going to ensure that when you're using your progressive overload principle and you're doing a certain weight, if you keep that rest period relatively similar, you might go over a few seconds or go under a few seconds, you're then going to know if you're actually progressing. If you go for like a 3-minute rest, one set, and then a 1-minute rest, obviously you're not going to be able to do as much weight if you're doing or as much repetitions if you're only having a 1-minute rest, because you have less time to recover than a 3-minute recovery. So if you're doing a hypertrophy plan and you want to increase lean muscle, then you want to keep your rest period somewhere between a minute to 2 minutes. If you want to do more of a strength plan, then you can go 3 to 5 minutes, and then if you're doing more of a muscular endurance, then you can drop that rest periods down to anything from 60 to 30 seconds. But the key is to actually record your recovery period so that you're as structured as possible in your workouts, and it's just another variable that you can control. And number 4 is the intensity that you're training. Now, there's a trail of thought that says that we should always push to our maximum every single workout until complete failure. And there's different studies that will back that approach and others that don't. But a lot of the new literature is basically saying that we want to try now to get to 7 to 8 out of 10 on an RPE scale, which is your rate of perceived exertion. And that is to push to within 2 to 3 of your complete maximum. Now, the benefit of working to this rep range is you'll be able to keep the same intensity through the workout. If you push yourself to the limit in the first 2 sets, you're unlikely to be able to keep that same intensity as you go through the full workout. Plus, so you'll be able to, as I say, be able to keep that intensity all the way through. So probably over, say, again, a set of 4 sets or a group of 4 sets, you're probably going to be able to actually do more repetitions over that phase altogether. You'll recover faster following the session as well, a lot of research will show. The trouble is, if you say to most people do 2 to 3 below complete maximum, they're actually probably stopping at 5 to 6 below complete maximum. A lot of people don't actually push themselves as hard as they really could do. If you're stopping 2 to 3 reps below complete maximum, you are still working extremely hard. You're really pushing it, and you need to get to that intensity, as I say, to force that adaptive response and really improve week on week, and then increase muscle, increase your strength. So they are the 4 key mistakes that I see people make. If you can implement those 4 principles into your training, you're going to see results that completely skyrocket. Week on week, you'll see an improvement in strength and lean muscle, as long as you're getting enough recovery and eating good quality nutrition. So that is to progressively overload your training week on week. Stick to a set training plan. Make sure you time your recoveries and stick to them, and hit an intensity of 7 to 8 out of 10 on the RPE scale, or 2 to 3 repetitions before complete failure. So if you enjoyed that video, make sure you give me a follow so you can get all of my upcoming videos coming through, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and get the chat started.